everyone, I am Kriti Parashar from Class 7C from Guru Global School, Chandigarh. Today I have brought to you a very interesting story, and the title of the story is Two Pilgrims. So let's get started. Once upon a time, there were two old men named Ephraim and Elisha. They both were friends for many years. Ephraim was a pious man, a man who lived a godly life and was a very responsible citizen of the community. He was relatively wealthy, but fiscally cautious and felt a great responsibility for his family, his children, and his grandchildren. Elisha, a former carpenter and now a keeper of bees, was a kind man, cheerful and a little less concerned about the problems of drinking and taking snuff. He drank sometimes and took some snuff, but he was a peaceful man who all his neighbors enjoyed. Ephraim and Elisha had long ago promised each other that one day they would travel on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem to worship God. But this holy journey had been postponed many times because of the necessities of life. Finally, after much debate about when this pilgrimage should take place, the two friends at last agreed to make the journey to the Holy Land. Each prepared for the trip in his own way. Ephraim had great concern for leaving thorough instructions with his wife and children about how to manage his estate when he was gone, while Elisha was much more casual about all these details. Ephraim had great concern for leaving thorough instructions with his wife and children for how to manage his estate when he was not at home, while Elisha was much more casual about all these details. While Ephraim left detailed orders for his loved ones, Elisha told his family to see what to do and how to do it as the needs arise. After 5 weeks of working, the men came to an area of Russia where the harvest had failed and the local peasant families were struggling to survive. During the first month of their journey, Ephraim and Elisha had often been fed and housed by the local residents at no expense. But now the crop shortage meant that the food was no longer as a gift. As they traveled through this area of poverty, the two men agreed to separate and meet up at a later point. Ephraim wanted to press up with the pilgrimage, but Elisha decided to slow the pace of his journey. Ephraim's persistence eventually took him to the Holy Land, where he visited all the sacred sites and contributed generously to the coffers in each location. He was a good man, a committed Christian, a man who wanted to live a responsible life. He cared about his family, worked hard, and was serious about his faith. Elisha never met up with Ephraim as they had planned, and though Ephraim thought that he got glimpses of Elisha at several of the sacred sites, he could never find him in the crowds after the ceremonies were over. Meanwhile, Elisha's decision to slow down his journey resulted in a very different set of circumstances. Searching for water, he had entered a home where a poor peasant family was starving to death. He quickly realized their desperate plight and decided to offer some bread that he was carrying with him. He prepared them a meal, nurtured them back to their health, and decided to invest his trip money in the purchase of agricultural tools and farm animals for the family so that they could get back upon their feet. By the time he felt confident, the family's health was restored and the parents were able to take care for themselves and the animals. Elisha knew that he had no choice but to go back home. His money was almost gone, and he guessed that his partner had already arrived in Jerusalem. Elisha never doubted what he had done. He was confident that his friend Ephraim had placed a candle in the shrines in his name. He knew that he would never fulfill his vow to see Jerusalem, but he was glad that his vow was made to a merciful master. He did what was right and was completely at peace with his choice. When Ephraim returned from his pilgrimage, he came looking for Elisha. The good friends warmly greeted each other and discussed how they had spent their time. Well, what was the moral of the story? Let me tell you. We learned that the greatest service to God is to do good to others and to care for them. Thank you and have a nice day.